Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning, everybody. Today is on the 6th of July. The first week is over, 6th of July. We're going to be doing, and welcome to the Market Brief by Anzo Capital, brought to you. I'm your host, Nick. I'm going to be taking you through two, three pairs. We're going to check on gold, we're going to check on Euro USD, and we're going to see some of the fundamentals reasons as to what's moving the market, and also look at the technical, delve in the technical outlook. On the screen, if you look, you can see what we did on Friday. This is last week. We were anticipating some buys on this sector. Let me put it on over here. All right. So you see on the screen, we were looking for buys above this area. You can see we marked here very well, potential buys above this area. And we did get some very good buys over here happening here. You're looking for sales as well from these points. Right. So we had some sales down here. We had a whole candle that pushed all the way down, and for buys over here until we got this break above here. That's when the market continued pushing up, and you can see it's still pushing up as it goes up. So we want to get to know what's the next move that the market wants to take. This is when it comes to the market itself. All right. So let's check on again on the dollar. The dollar, we did get the buys over here happening, potential buys. We got this candle pushing up and close. This is the buys that we're targeting over here, and we got all of them covered. On the Euro USD, so we did three of them. On the Euro USD as well, we were looking for buys in this area, and we got the sells, and we also got the buys on the other side. So we're gonna do a fresh new analysis on all of these pairs just to see what to expect today and probably this week. We're also gonna look at delve into some fundamental outlook just to see what could be driving the market this week and how we're going to mitigate that, right? So if you look at gold, so what's driving the move on gold? We have the US dollar weakness. As you know, the counter relation of the markets. Gold tends to move inversely to the US dollar. You see, when the US dollar moves up, gold moves down. If the US dollars move down, gold sometimes moves up, right? So this is if there's any sign of a softer dollar, that makes gold cheaper, and for the holders of the currency, they support the demand, of course, that is going on over there, right? There's also an effect on the Federal Reserve rate expectations. We are still waiting for the federal rate expectations that are coming out. There's a lot of speculation going on in the market, and when you're watching the upcoming U.S. economic data, that gives us the clue on where the Federal Reserve on whether the Federal Reserve, if they're gonna cut or they're gonna add the rates, or if it's gonna be dovish or hawkish. We see the expectations are most likely they're looking on the lower side, like they could lower the rates, which reduce the opportunity cost of holding and yields, and that definitely is going to make gold go bullish. It's going to make gold continue pushing all up. Of course, apart from the fact that it's a safe haven demand, of course, and the central bank buying. So those are some of the effects that are pushing the gold really, really to be strong and moving up. But again, the key data watch that we need to look at for this day and for this week, definitely, or for the month as well, what you're going to be need to concentrate a lot is going to be the CPI. You're going to be looking at the inflation reports. We just did the NFP last week. Federal Reserve, of course, speeches are going to be coming in. I know they're coming in. We will look at them on the Forex Factory, the news channel. Treasury yields are coming in, and the DXY, the performance of the DXY, of course, is going to be affecting the dollar and the euro greatly. Okay. When you look on the what's driving the move, the pair remains primarily, that is basically the Euro USD. We have the ECB versus the Federal Reserve rate again. It's coming out. We have the ECB, European Central Bank. They're coming up with some reserve policies that are going to be a bit stepping onto each other when you look at the Fed Reserve policies as well, and that's making the Euro USD to strengthen, because again it's weakening. The dollar seems to be weakening a bit, and that makes the Euro USD to get a bit strong, as you can see on the charts over there. So we're gonna jump onto the news channel, just check on the news that we expect this week. What do we need to see this week? I'm gonna go straight to today's. Today is on the 6th. All right, so the most important thing when you come to this website, the Forex Factory website, make sure that you the dates is correct. Make sure the date which you're doing this and the date on the chart is correct, so that you don't miss. All right. So it's placed Monday, July 6th. The time frame is the same. It's good. So we have the ISM service report. Of course, the ISM usually comes out every month. It's a report that usually comes out every month. And this report measures a lot on the manufacturing and the service industry. So the manufacturing report comes in on the first of every month, and this the service report comes in on the third of every month. So here we are. Last week we had the NFP, so we didn't get the ISM, but the ISM is here right now. The service report is out on the 6th this month, and there we go. All right. So that's gonna be moving the dollar definitely in the evening. That's around 5 p.m. today. Let's see tomorrow. Tomorrow is on a Tuesday. We have the Bank of England Governor Bailey. Andrew Bailey will be giving a speech at 1:30 p.m. That's gonna affect the pound. Then we're gonna be expecting some effect on the dollar, Canadian dollar over here, or the loonie if you want. But it's gonna be the PMI at 5 p.m. tomorrow. On Wednesday, we're gonna jump all the way to the New Zealand Bank as well. The New Zealand Bank, they're going to be doing a press conference, and a rate statement is going to be released, and that's going to be around 5 a.m. Kenyan time on Wednesday. So if you want to trade the Sydney session and the New York session and the Tokyo session, this is the time for you to be up to trade that New Zealand move. If you do anything like AUD, NZD, NZD, all of these, you can trade them over there at that time. All right. The same day on Wednesday, we'll be gonna be having the FOMC minute meetings coming out. The meeting minutes will be coming out at 9 p.m. on Wednesday. That's gonna affect the dollar greatly, definitely. Thursday, we're gonna be having unemployment claims coming out at 3:30 p.m. It's gonna also be a bank holiday for the New Zealand dollar, so it's very good for you to observe that if you trade those New Zealand currencies. Then Friday to close the week, going to be having the Canadian dollar employment change, unemployment rates, and building permits coming out at the same time, 3:30 p.m. That's going to be moving the Canadian dollar. All right. That being said, going to jump onto the technical outlook. Going to jump onto the technical outlook. Just check on how the market is behaving. Good measure on gold, Euro USD, just to see how market is moving on this side. So I'm going to remove every other drawing over here. Assume we have a fresh new chart, and we're going to attack it as a fresh new week just to see where the market could be headed to. All right. So again, the technical breakdown that we're going to be using is price action based on market structure. What we're going to be doing is just to observe areas of resistance and support and identify some breakout trades that we could get into as the day goes by. All right. So let's start by identifying the high of the week over here. By the way, if you want, if you have a problem with understanding or remembering this, you could also just name them just to understand, just to know where the market is headed. All right, so we have the high over here, monthly high. We have the monthly low down over here. But now the monthly low got broken over here. All right, so this is the gonna just do a quick recap on what we did on Friday. So the monthly low got broken over here. This has been the monthly low for quite a long time. Now it got broken over here. So now we're dealing with a new low over here. We're dealing with a new low over here. It's not yet, if you look at it on monthly, it's not yet formed as a support yet for us to put it over there. But if you go a bit down on the weekly, then it makes sense for you to put it over there. You can see there's a candle that got rejected. There's also this area that used to be rejected before, and now we are here right now. This is where we are. Okay, so let's check on the weekly high. So that's still values in as the weekly low. Weekly high, gonna put our candle, our line or our resistance level over here. There we go. All right, good. Then we go down onto the daily. Go down onto the daily over here. That's the daily high. Identify that as the daily high. Yep. And that's the daily low where we see it down over here. Very good. All right, let's go down to 4 hours and see what we got in 4 hours. So the market right now is trying to make a pull up, which is really good. So we have ourselves right over here. We've got yourself high over here, and we've got ourselves a low. This is the most immediate low that we're looking at over here. Most immediate low. We're gonna go down to 1 hour just to see, to minimize, just to narrow it down further. I'm using this as the 1 hour low. Okay, 30 minutes. Good. Yes, very nice. 30 minutes. I get to find this as the 30 minutes high. Over here, 30 minutes high. Uh-huh, 30 minutes high falls over here. Good. Let me just broaden it for you to see well. So the market is playing in between these two levels over here. All right, it's playing in between that body and in between that body over there. All right. So what we're gonna be doing ourselves is to look for breakout trades, which will gonna come from that point and from this point. All right. The most important thing will be waiting for the candle to close and the body to close above. That's gonna be a very good indication. Potential buys above here, and you have potential sells below here. Okay. Right, so we're gonna draw this. Let's put this one over here. You see, good over there. We're gonna put a stop loss maybe some area below that point, not way farther than that. Of course, you're gonna need to know your risk appetite and risk capacity as you move forward, just to not miss the movements. All right, there we go. There we are. Down over here. Right, there we go. Right, so that's something that you could look at into today. Potential buys above this point, potential sells below this point over here. Something that you could look at and just see how the market is going to be behaving. Basically, if you get a candle closing above this point, probably the body that we're going to be really nice, because again, it's going to be indicating some potential move on the bull side, and that's going to cover all the way this to up these points. If you get a candle pushing, like let's say for example the candle that is running right now closes down with the body down over here, we could push all the way down to first this point over here. Yep, send it up to this point and then next to the other point over here. All right. Yes. So that's basically what we're going to be looking at when it comes to gold. Let's check on the Euro USD on the other side. On the other side, Euro USD has been rallying, has been moving all the way. It seems to be a bit bullish as the week came to an end last week. So let's see. Let's see what we got. Right. So we start by identifying the same areas, support, resistant levels. Yes, so we could say that the resistant level, no, it wasn't. The support level was not broken. We're looking for the support level to be broken, but still not yet. Not yet. All right. Weekly. Gonna get the weekly high over here. Right over there. Weekly low is still sat on the same area. Still had to start just kind of sit on the same area over there. And here we got the daily highs, very nice daily highs over there. I'm gonna push it a bit lower just to see 4 hours, what we have, break it down a bit. But the 4 hours high over here, very nice. 4 hours high, 4 hours low over here. Okay. Expand it a bit just for it to make more sense. But then, 1 hour, on to 1 hour, we're gonna put it over there. 1 hour high. We got 1 hour low over here. Then 30 minutes right now, right over there. I know it's gonna be. It looks like a promising week that the market's gonna be moving. Yeah, seems very promising week. We're gonna be having some good moves coming into these markets. Seems like it's really good. And then there's a lot of fundamentals as well coming up. Remember, it's still the beginning of the week, so still expecting some major moves happening here and there. Right, but I'm gonna catch this one as the point over here. Let's see 15 minutes. What does 15 minutes have for us? Yes, 15 minutes. We got this low over here. But then again, on the upside, there's a lot of noise happening over here. On the upside, see all of these, uh, all of these near is nice. So now, good over here. Yes, so we could have some potential sales below this point. And potential buys above this point. There we go. Yes. If we're gonna be selling anytime soon, I'm gonna expect to get this done like this. For the buys, see above this week, but I'm not really liking the buys though. To be honest, I'm not really liking the buys. It doesn't really look so good for me. It's too much consolidation going on the left side. Unlike the cells, see on the cells, the left side is quite clean for a potential move down. But then again, remember these are potential orders. We're giving potentials orders that may happen. I'm not really guaranteeing you that there's no guarantee that it's gonna be a bullish move, or it's gonna be a buy, it's gonna be a sell. No, it's just potential areas that you should be try to look for your own entries at those point once the market gets there, should it get there. All right. So again, you need to understand that all of these is majorly for education purposes. We're not here to give signals. It's not really what we do. I'm just showing you how to break it down and potential areas that you could look for buys and sells on your other side, right? So that's been Euro USD. That's what we look at today, and USD gold over here on this other side. We wait for a breakout above that point or breakout below this point, and we're gonna be executing and pushing the market all the way wherever it wants to go. Okay. So other than that, that's majorly it for the day. We're gonna be looking at what the market should be, what we're expecting the market in terms of the fundamentals. Again, we're gonna go back again and see the ISM is up today at 5 p.m. You're gonna need to keep that in mind as even as you trade. We're just entering the London session right now. New York session will be opening at around 3 p.m. So it's really good to keep keep an eye as new session opens at 5 p.m. We're going to be having the ISM coming in. That's going to distort the whole technical that we've done. But again, risk manage your account well. Always use risk management, the basics of risk management, stop loss and take profit, as well as, like I always say, trade what you see, not what you think, right? Always look at the market in a way, trade what you can see is happening. That's why I'm saying wait for it to break above or break below. That's something you'll be seeing, and then you can execute from that. Don't do a wishful trade. Don't trade what you think should happen. Trade what you see it's happening in the market. Right, guys? At that point, thank you guys very much. Have a good one. Thank you for being my audience as well. We're gonna be doing a daily review on the same market brief every day at 10 a.m. brought to you by Anzo Capital Kenya. My name is Nick. Gonna be seeing you tomorrow to do a breakdown and a review on the same. All right. At that point, happy hunting. Risk manager trades well, and always trade what you see, not what you think. Take care. Bye bye.